Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I am here with some planners. So you already see from the title, but I am going to be doing some travel planning. It's actually not travel planning, it's going to be travel memory keeping. I am going to be putting together some pages and some of the scraps, ephemera, keepsakes that I have from a recent trip that my family and I took. We took a cruise at the beginning of December 2023, and so we're about a month and a half, almost 2 months. Actually, it is 2 months out from that trip, and I've just been delaying putting together these pages just because it's kind of a big project. I have been busy with December and January being holiday months, January being the beginning of the new year, getting into routines, all of those things, right? But I did want to try to put together these pages. Yeah, it's just that time. It's time to put these pages together, and I wanted to hop on and record the process for you so that way you can kind of see how I do it. I did want to start off with talking about a little bit about how I had planned to set this up. So in one of my previous videos, I'll try to remember to link it in the description. I had set up, or at least walked you through, this beautiful notebook, which is my travel binder. This travel binder is part of my home binder system. And so I have several like cases that look like this, and I've labeled them with like different areas of my home or my family life. So I have one for medical, I have one for my house and car, I have one for just like notes about our family, I have one for travel, as you see, and then I have a medical binder, like just all the different areas where you would keep track of things. This one is like, I think the one of the fun ones that I have. It's not the like serious documentation for the house. It's just something where I like to keep track of what our family likes to do in terms of vacations. And so I won't flip through it in this video just because I do have a flip through of it separately. And again, I'll try to remember to link that in the description. But this basically houses right now all of my obviously my passport. This is an old passport, but it houses like all of my planning notes. So just as an example, right here, I have like a Disney planner. And so this Disney planner is just like random notes that I've taken to myself. You can see some weeks are totally empty, but it's just me planning out an event. And initially, at the very end, let me see if I can get there. At the end, I have this section where it's kind of like memory keeping and like just notes about different trips that we've taken. I wanted to include my cruise planner in there. And that was the original plan, but then I realized, and I'll show you this to you, I have like a giant box, and these are all the pieces of paper and things that I collected on the cruise. And I don't know if you can kind of tell, but basically it spans like an entire hand span. And so there's just no way that that would fit all into like this binder, because you can already see like this is really full, right? And so what I decided to do instead was pull out a couple of pages from this travel binder. So the first thing that I pulled out were these kind of like old planner pages. These planner pages are outdated pages that are a color block. And what I did is, instead of worrying about like decorating it or anything like that, I turned it sideways. You can see here it says August 2023, and then I just dated it. And so I do use a Monday to Sunday start, a Monday start. And so this is Tuesday, and it just goes through that. And these pages I was using to, let me see if I can show you an example, to track like different cruises that I was considering taking. Now, these cruises I did not go on. And so these are all kind of old pages that was in the binder. And I didn't do anything but like track the cruises on there, but these were cruises that we didn't take. So at this point, these planner pages are pretty much outdated. Like here's December. You can see December, there's a ton of cruises. And so here are some of the prices. Yeah, so this is the cruise that we took right here. So there are some planner pages in here, and January is over. And then February, the beginning of February is here. So what I'm trying to say is like these pages are now outdated. Not only just really literally outdated, but also I've already used them, and I can get rid of them. But instead of just tossing them in the recycling bin, what I've decided to do is convert them, and you'll see this in the process video. But I also have a couple of like grid pages. I actually don't know if I'm going to use these or not, but I pulled them out. Again, they were in the travel binder. These were some of the grid pages that I was using to DIY some of the pages that I had in my travel binder. And again, I just pulled out the blank sheets for those. And then I have this planner. So this is kind of interesting because I would say like 2 or 3 years ago, gave my family, I kind of like set up like partial planners for them, just to try to get rid of some of my planner supplies. So it was probably 2021. Yes. So this was in December 2020. I gifted them basically the December 2020 through July 2021 portions of a planner. And most of my family do not use planners. I would say none of them use planners really, except for my sisters. But I did gift pretty much every single person in the family a planner, and I got one back just like 2 weeks ago. It was just random, my niece said, "Hey, do you want this planner back?" I obviously didn't use it. And so I was like, okay, I'll take it back. Clearly they're outdated pages. I did kind of start doing this. And so at the beginning here, I have been using this to kind of track some of the things that are happening at Rose's daycare. And I still want to do this. And I'm actually going to pull out February because I didn't use it. And what I did for this was, just write in all the things. Like, this is what we did this week. So here we are right here, but we decided just to kind of do it like this. It's basically a planner for Rose and Sophia to kind of, you can see, like, messy color and do all of those things in. And I can definitely still do that with these pages, but I also thought that it might be nice for me to kind of have a built-in outdated planner to just kind of convert to a travel planner. So we'll see how this works, or a travel memory keeper. So first things first, I'm going to put these pages here at the very beginning, because I do want to try to use these pages up first. My priority here is to use up these outdated pages, and then I can go in and use some of these like outdated planner pages, but these haven't been used, so I don't want to like use them, I could still save them and use them for something else. So that will be the lowest priority of all of these. And so what I'm going to do is basically go through my stack of stuff that's in that green box and just kind of start pasting it in. Now, what I do for travel planning is basically, or like travel memory keeping, is kind of paste things in. It's a style of memory keeping called Smashbooking. It's where you just take a book, here's my book, and I start smashing things into it. So the focus is kind of like a casual scrapbooking, I would say. And so you keep all the papers and like little tidbits and things like that, and just kind of glue them or like tape them or smash them in here somehow, so that they are in a single book. And so that's kind of the plan. And I think because I have so many different things in here, I'm going to put you on fast forward and we'll speed it up. We'll see at the very end what it looks like. So let's get started. Okay. In real time, that took me a while. I would say 45 minutes, but let's go ahead and do a flip through of the whole thing. Hopefully you were able to see everything, even with it being sped up. But this is my Smashbook, and I love doing this just because it keeps everything corralled, as you can see, but it's still messy, which is kind of my style. And I don't know, I just love Smashbooking. Obviously, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, my plan was initially to put this into my travel binder, and there was just no way that was going to fit. So this is my travel binder, and I'm of course very constrained with space, since it is the Work Plus Life cover that is, I think it's about an inch thick, and there's just no way. There's no way this would have fit in there. So I'm glad I made the decision to put it into its own kind of book, and we'll flip through it again just to show you everything in a little bit of detail and talk to you a little bit about Smashbooking. Okay, so let's talk about this. I did leave it on mini discs because that was the planner that I gave to my family, but clearly it is like just bursting at the seams. This is just a random cover. Again, that's what was put onto the planners for my family, and so I left those on here. I will have to, as you can see, hold this down until I get to the middle, and then I'll have to hold down the side. But what I decided to do was, usually when I Smashbook, I do like to put it chronologically, but then it just got to be where, it was just too much. And so I decided instead, kind of like midway through the video, to sort by like themes. And so the first couple of things are just like the mailings that I get at my house. And so it's just fun carnival related items. We did, of course, I'm sure you figured it out by now, we took a carnival cruise. And so these are the things that they mail us just as like promo items at my house. I cut out some of those items. I was planning to kind of like paste it down onto the sheets themselves, but I decided not to do that. I will go in and for this envelope kind of label it as like boarding passes and keys, but I did put in just like I will label it boarding passes, keys. There's some like luggage tags, that kind of thing. So I put all of that in there. And I've done this pretty much for every trip, every cruise that I've taken is saved all of the keys and things like that. And so I'll know what that is. So that's like the first thing that you do is, of course, like put your luggage onto the ship and get your boarding passes so you can get onto the ship and then get your keys. I did cover this up just because it has our names, but this is the envelope the keys come in, and they're at your door. This is some of the information that they have in your room when you get onto a cruise ship. So obviously I folded it all up and kind of messed it up, but this is like, I should turn it this way so you can read it if you wanted to. But this is a note from Shaq, the what is he? He's like the chief fun officer. It just talks about what children on a cruise ship should do. So things like follow the curfew, avoid being with strangers, things like that. And then this other side is, hey parents, listen up. It's a note to parents. And a note about families and what we need to do, like wear the wristband all the time, and just make sure that if there's any kind of like drill or fire or any kind of emergency, there is a designated zone that the children go to. So it's just information for families. We have cruised quite a bit, and so it's just good information though still to have that, just because. And then this is the last thing that I just kind of punched and put straight in here with some additional like just first day, first hour on the ship. What are some of the things that I need to know? And so I put that in there just to kind of remember what were some of the things that they told us in 2023 that we needed to remember for safety purposes. Then I decided to kind of put like all of like the beginning things, like, so of course we don't want to get seasick, so we had Dramamine for me as well as for the kids and for my husband too. And then here's the information with our room steward. I coughed the entire cruise, so I just decided to stick this in here. So a couple of cough drop wrappings. I didn't put every single one of them. I definitely threw away a couple, a lot, way more than a couple. But I was coughing the whole trip, so I just wanted to remember that. And then one of the things that I always do when I get on a cruise ship is go to the room, just make sure I get my keys, so that way we can just have that on our body. And then what I do is go to the dining room to be able to confirm our table, and check our dining time. And so this is what I did with that. And so that's the table we sat at. And so then right here, I have these fun times. I pasted it these two just because I had duplicates. And so this is the first day and the second day. Welcome board on the 9th, and then this 10th. And in fact, I did in the middle of the video, I think you saw this, but I saved all of the fun times. I love having these to be able to look back on, and I love that they have gone back to printing these out. There was a period, like I think right after COVID, where they stopped printing them, and I love that they are doing it now again. So I have it, of course, for every single day. 14th, 15th, 16th, yes, and so this is Fairway Well Day. And what I'm going to do is just stick it in here. And some of this stuff I didn't punch, and you know, it just ends up being like that. Because it just won't make it on the discs, and also I don't want to punch into some of the information, and so I'll leave it in here, and what I'll end up doing is just putting a rubber band around the entire thing, or somehow like keeping it closed so that way it doesn't fall loose. So that is that. I actually did not save any menus from the trip, which is disappointing. Normally I do try to save some menus just to see what we ate, but what I did save were Sophia's menus. So these were the two that I saved. They do look similar, but I noticed, again, like you probably saw this in the video, but I did flip through it to see that they were different, and the inside activities were different, so I did save that, but the front and back are the same. But again, these inside activities were a little bit different, or maybe they're the same and they just are in different order. But anyway, I saved those two menus. Again, I wish I had saved some of the other menus, but that's okay. And then one of the things that I love to do on cruises is to like do all of like the onboard activities, mostly like trivia, coloring, crafting type stuff, of course. And so we did several of those things. So one was a coloring at sea. So they allowed us to borrow some colored pencils. And so I saved this one. The other one that Sophia colored was a turkey, and I'm going to put that in the Thanksgiving book. So that was one. The other thing that I do love to do, like I said, is trivia. So I put trivia here. And so this is, I think, the first day of trivia, or like the first trivia that I did was this one on the 10th. But then I also have here, like this is a digital scavenger hunt with like the rules and the different prompts. So I stuck that in here. And then after that are like some of the other trivias. And I should probably punch this and put this in here. These are all just the answers from trivia and all the trivia sheets that I have. And I should punch it and put it in there, but also, like I said, I'll just rubber band it together so that way it stays together. So that is trivia. I love doing trivia. That's one of my favorite things. I do try to every Carnival cruise. I try to win a ship on a stick, and I've been doing well. I pretty much have at least one for every ship that I've been on, except for one ship. So that's the one ship I'm disappointed in not getting a ship for, but I have it for all of the other ones. So it's my little reward it's like a souvenir, basically, for being good at trivia. So that is what that is. I also do collect pens. And so one of the pins that they have is this year with the gold members for Carnival. You're able to collect this pin right here. It's the 2023 VIFP Club pen, and it's celebrating their, I think their 50th. Yes, the 50th birthday. And so it came with this postcard and the pen, and you can see here, just stuck this in. I do have, we cruised, like we actually had like 5 of us cruising, and well, actually more than that, seven, almost 11 of us cruising, depending on like whether you're counting just my family or just my family and friends. But for my immediate family, all 4 of us went. And so I got pins for all of us. So I only put one in here. The others I'll save for the girls and put it on their pin boards so that way they can remember that they went on this trip. So that is on there. And then I just covered the back with some of the Zone 15. You can see here the water shuttle passes. These are obviously the ones that we ended up not using. I went down on the day that we needed to get on the water shuttle and just pulled some of these passes. But we ended up like taking a longer time on breakfast this particular day. And so I ended up not using any of these passes. But then it kind of shifts into like all of the different ports that we were going to. So this one is for Bimini. And it's, you know, one of those things that you just like, as soon as you get off the ship, they start handing you stuff. So that's one of those things. Here's Freeport. I don't actually remember. I'm pretty sure this is correct. That we went on a tour at Freeport, but I don't know for sure. I'm like 90% sure, but I'll have to double check that with photos. But again, this is just one of those things that Carnival sends or like puts with your materials, and so I had 2 copies of it. So one I punched and put in there, and the other is there just in case I wanted like a neater version. I'll probably throw away one of them though. I don't like punching because it cuts into some of the writing, but some of it I can tell that's a behind even though it's missing the D, you know. So if it doesn't cut off too much information, then I can just toss the duplicate. All right, and then this is what the water shuttle passes here before. So in Princess Keys, we had to get on a water shuttle. But they moved very quickly through the water shuttle process. So like I said, even though I don't feel like we were at breakfast that long, they were able to clear out pretty much all of the zones with the water shuttle. And then they just left it like as open water shuttle times. So you just hop on the shuttle whenever you wanted to. So that's that. One of the things that Sophia did is go to Camp Ocean. So we did a bunch of Camp Ocean activities. She went by herself for quite a bit of it, but we also did several activities together, one of which was Build-A-Bear. She has a bear from a previous Carnival cruise, and so she actually just wanted to go in and buy clothes for her bear, and so these are the items that she purchased, or the tags for the items that she purchased. Obviously the items themselves are with her bear. And then one of the things that I did was, for this particular trip, just because it was a holiday themed trip, it was Christmas related, I bought a bunch of like Christmas items, holiday clothes, things like that. And so these are all the tags from all the different clothes that we wore. And then this is the tag from the little bear's dress. And so I added that in there. I thought that was cute. So, I mean, it should go here, but I put it in here because, you know, her bear, Elegantor, wanted to be cute too. So she got new clothes for the trip as well. So that was cute. Okay, and then the next little section is like Sophia. And so again, you know, we did a bunch of stuff together, like Build-A-Bear and Dr. Seuss and things like that. But we also sent her to Camp Ocean, which is like the kids area. And so she had a bunch of stuff. She brought back all sorts of stuff. The back of it has like the Carnival like logo. And so I just glued that down, but this is all for her. And so here's some other stuff that she did at Camp Ocean. This is a giant emoji. At first I didn't know what to do with like putting this in here, but you know, I just came up with the idea of doing this envelope, so that worked out. And of course you saw that it was hanging out a little bit too much, and so I trimmed it, or like folded it over, taped it down, and then trimmed this section and tucked that behind, so that works. But it gets very, as you can see, like because of these kind of like bigger elements, it gets very, very thick after a while. Okay. One of the other things that she did was this kind of rainbow scratch art, super cute. I thought at first had done this mermaid. I was just going to be so impressed, but she said it was a stencil, so she laid a stencil down and then scratched it. So, but still, very cute. She also did some, you can see, handprint art. They were doing like ocean animals or something like that, so she did that one. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but then of course this looks like an octopus. All right, and then she also did a frame, which is kind of weird because she wrote her name in glitter glue one way and then did her name the other way. So obviously, you know, it's going to be kind of wonky. Plus also she like decorated the frame. So it doesn't work as a frame really, because this is the piece that comes out. But she did do that. So I stuck it in here. This little thing, I have no idea what this is. It was like maybe like a rocket popper, like a rocket, I think a rocket thing. So they did kind of like a stem, like rocket something or another. So she did this. The back side says Lily. I have no idea who Lily is. It also says Ava. Again, no idea who those people are. So I put the side that has her name on it, where it says Sophia. And then she also, this is her wristband. She also did a lot of collecting of ducks. And so we got a bunch of like duck tags as well as ducks, which I didn't put a duck in here except for this one, which was a keychain, a little bit flatter. So I thought it would fit in a little bit better in here. So that's one of the ducks, but she and Rose got, I think between the two of them, maybe like 12 or 13 ducks, which it was a lot of ducks. And some of the ducks didn't have tags, but some of the ducks did. And so these are the tags for that. And then this one, there was one of the shows on the ship that was a 3D show, and so these were the 3D glasses from it. I did tuck it like this so that way I could see that the name of the show was Getaway Island. Otherwise I would have probably just put it like straight on the page, but I wanted it to see that it was Getaway Island, so that's that. And then one of the other activities that we did was this diamond painting. We actually went just to get the diamond painting kit, and then we did this after the fact, just because we didn't have time to sit down and do the kit that day and in that moment. And so this is what it looks like. It's of course a menorah, and we obviously don't celebrate Hanukkah. We are Christian, and so we celebrate Christmas, but I put it in here just because it was part of the cruise ship. The ship did have like a Hanukkah, like a menorah that they lit every day of Hanukkah as well, so it was nice. I didn't do any of that, but okay, a couple of other last little bits I won't flip through it. It's basically the statement of all of our charges. So I did stick it in here. I can flip it open and open it down to see my charges. So that's there. And I should have moved this up, but this is the luggage tag that you use to debark, and they put them in zones. There's a funny story with this. So obviously this is 6, but most of our luggage ended up being put in zone 6, but then my husband's luggage ended up getting lost. And we were like, oh my gosh, where is his luggage? It ended up like not being with everything else. And so one of the porters said, well, go ahead and check in zone 9. And that's where it was. So that was so funny. I think that they should not use 6 or 9 if they're not going to be able to put it in the correct zone, but that's that. And I probably, like I said, should have moved it up and put it up here. I didn't realize I was going to put the statement here, but that's all okay. This is the debark information, the paperwork that they put in your room the very last night, so that way you know how to get off the ship. Again, I've cruised with Carnival multiple times, but it's just nice to have this just as like a snapshot for what they said in 2023. And then here's a note from our room steward, and he just put it on a sticky note. That was super cute. I like that. And then again, we did use a lot of Dramamine. We finished all of the Dramamine, so the box ended up I don't think I tossed it. I saved the box because it was actually a nicer box, but this was the sticker that was on the box, and I didn't know where to put it. It was like one of those super sticky stickers, and so I did put it on just like a random sheet of paper, like a scrap, the notepad from Carnival, and so I ended up sticking that in here. This is actually the rest of the tear off of the envelope for the card key thing that's at the very beginning. Yeah, so that's that. And then the last thing is our parking pass. So this is the parking pass. We actually parked at the terminal in Mobile for the cruise. And so we parked there. And then this is the very last piece of paper that I got when we left the cruise was the parking pass that was sitting on the dashboard. And then with all of that being said, I still have this one sheet that I didn't do anything with, and I will take that out. And probably just recycle it. So at this point, this is a done deal. It was a very overwhelming kind of like thinking about doing it. It was very overwhelming to think about doing it, but doing it now, I'm excited. And so I'm actually going to grab a rubber band. I hope this fits. It's just a random rubber band that I literally just pulled out of a drawer. And I'm just going to stick it around here, just to hold it shut. All right, and I don't mind, but these covers, these are like some Happy Planner covers that I have multiple copies of. I use them for my Franken Planner. I'm sure if you're on my channel, you know that. So I have multiple copies of this particular cover, and so I don't mind if it's bent, and I don't mind if these papers are a little bit bent. You know, it's just meant to hold it together. I don't want it to kind of fall apart. So that's what I'm gonna do. I actually don't love that it's super tight though, so I might upgrade to a bigger rubber band that's like looser, but that's the only change I will make. And now this can just sit in the same area as my home binder and just kind of go with my travel planner. And so the only thing, like I said, I need to do is just put some words on the envelope, although at this point I might not even put the words, but I might go back in here and just kind of like label it to know that it's the December cruise that we took in 2023. And so that's the only addition that I'll make to this. Otherwise, it is a done project. So that is all my full process for putting together a travel Smashbook. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video, bye guys.